So the next vitamin is vitamin E, which is also called tocopherol or tocotrienol. So vitamin E is very important because it acts as an antioxidant on the cell membranes of a number, or essentially all of your cells in your body, especially that of your red blood cells. And this is important because it inhibits, as I said, the reactive oxygen species from damaging your cell membrane, which can cause it to rupture and causing your cells to essentially explode. And this is called cell lysis. So what happens when you become deficient? Well, essentially, your cells can rupture throughout your body. The main cells that are affected are your red blood cells, which can lead to something called a hemolytic anemia. And, people with eating disorders, they already tend to be iron deficient, which can lead to the iron deficient anemia, but this is compounded by the issue of the hemolytic anemia. The other more sort of serious side of vitamin E deficiency is that it can cause something called demyelination in your spinal cord. Now, demyelination essentially means that the cells around your nerves break down because of this reactive oxygen species induced cell lysis, and this can cause essentially the protective region around your cells to become lost, and this causes the nerves to shoot a lot more slowly. And this demyelination can lead to something very similar to that of B12 deficiency, which I talked about in a previous video, but can lead to your gait, your walking to become very unsteady. It can lead to you losing the ability to know where your limbs are. It can actually be very debilitating indeed. So the last vitamin is that of vitamin K. Now, in order to discuss vitamin K first, I need to talk a bit about the clotting cascade, which is what happens when you cut yourself, you clot, and that forms a scab. So what happens in the clotting cascade? Well, it's actually quite difficult to understand, but I hope that this I'll talk you through it, of course. So there are a number of factors in your blood which are produced by your liver, and these factors are helpfully they're just assigned a number. So what happens when you cut yourself is a factor called factor 12 gets converted to factor 12A. Now this factor 12A is the active form of factor 12 and causes 11 to go to 11A. 11A causes 9 to go to 9A, and 9A combines with 8A to form 8A.9A, which is essentially a massive complex of these two factors. Now this then leads to factor 10 converting to factor 10A, and factor 5 goes to 5A to form this 10A 5A complex. Now this is where the important bit comes in, because this complex converts 2 to 2A, and this 2A is called thrombin, and thrombin converts a massive protein in your blood called fibrinogen to fibrin, and that's the main component of the clot that forms in the scab. Now this 2A also feeds back on it to cause an increase in 5A production and 8A production. But also, when you cut yourself, you will also injure yourself, and this causes a release of factor 3. And this, combined with 7A, which is helped along by 2A converting it into 7A, forms this complex, which amplifies up the amount of 10A that is being converted from factor 10. So this increases the amount of thrombin that's produced, which essentially amplifies the whole thing, so you get a massive amount of fibrin that is deposited to make the clot. So where does vitamin K come in? Well, vitamin K by itself is the inactive form, and this gets reduced by an enzyme called epoxide reductase in your liver. And this active form of vitamin K mediates something called a gamma carboxylation of the glutamate amino acids on, I think, factor 2, factor 7, factor 9, 2, 7, 9, 10, and two other proteins called protein CNS. So this gamma carboxylation essentially activates these factors, which enables them to function, which enables you to form these clots. So if you become deficient in factor K, the obvious thing that's going to go wrong is that you're going to be unable to clot. Your platelets are going to be fine, which means that your bleeding time won't be an issue. But when you are unable to clot, your something called a prothrombin and partial thromboplastin time increases, which means that when you're cut, you're not going to clot as easily, which which can lead to you losing quite a bit of blood. So those are the main vitamins. Well, those are the vitamins in the fat-soluble vitamin group. I hope this video has been helpful for you, and if you've got any other questions regarding these vitamins or anything that you'd like me to discuss in an upcoming video, please do let me know. But for now, thanks for watching.